Hello, people of YouTube! I'm Schoko, and today we're watching Kentucky Ballistics. My 50 cal exploded. Huh?
What's up, everybody? My name is Scott,
Oh,
and I'm going to tell you about how my...
Oh! He looks so different than his previous videos. How bad was the explosion? Look at the whole stitching and everything. And the hand. Oh, this was really bad. Watching a man whose sniper exploded on his ass and survived death. Yeah. It's crazy.
And I'm going to tell you about how my 50 cal exploded, and I almost bit the dust about 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So I know a lot of you are probably wanting me to explain my injuries, and I'm going to do that, but I think it's best we start from the beginning. I know some of you are going to try to skip around in this video. I highly recommend you stay tuned and listen to all of this. But for those who are going to skip around, let me clear something up first. This was not the Barrett that we torture tested, and this was a complete freak accident. There's nothing that I did to have caused this. So April 9th, 2021, we come out here to shoot a fire hydrant with some slap rounds using my Serbu RN50. So we have the Serbu RN50 with the 36-inch long heavy barrel, and we're gonna go ahead and go big or go home and start out with this. This is a 50 BMG slap tracer round. The slap rounds tend to go a little to the right, so I aimed a little to the left, but this one actually hit true to where I was aiming.
Oh, wow.
We hit right here. And you can...
Through a fire hydrant. That is some powerful stuff. Oh, this is such a cool gun. What the heck? It's probably gonna leave a scar, yeah. Lucky his head didn't get blown off. A lot of damage, yeah.
You see, that thing is smoking. And then we blew right through the back of this thing.
That's the back of the thing? This would be used like for a tank or something. Look at the amount of damage.
Everything was going pretty smooth. We shot the fire hydrant several times, but the slap rounds were acting a little funny. One of the slap rounds hit like 1.5 feet low and to the right. I say we hit it with one more slap round, but this time aim for the thickest part of the fire hydrant and see what happens.
Notice how much larger the muzzle flash is compared to the first slam round. Slap 1.
The gun was functioning normally, as it always has. I've been using this gun for a long time now, and I've never had any issues out of it. So before all this happened, we took one last shot, and it was actually really, really cool. The round was stuck out the back of the fire hydrant. This is a 50 BMG silver red tip armor piercing incendiary tracer. So we went through the top of the fire hydrant. Look at that.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. It's just stuck out the back. After that, I decided I was gonna take one last shot with a slap round and try to hit the thickest spot on the fire hydrant. So before I loaded my last slap round, I know that there was no barrel obstruction because I literally found the round in the fire hydrant. But this last round that I loaded into my Serbu RN50 was a very, very hot round, and I had no idea. And there's really no way for me to have ever known that this round was as hot as it was. So here you can see me taking the last shell casing out, and now I'm loading in the slap round.
I kind of like how it's loaded in. It's like a twisty, like a bottle. Schoko, when she's surprised, the anti-material rifle shoots the material. Well, I don't know how far material can go through. Hot, more gunpowder in it. The other guy who's also lucky was the guy who fired an RPG and exploded as soon as he pulled the trigger. Nah, that's so scary.
I screw the cap on all the way,
Wait, that stops
and the gun
vehicles?
closes completely, and everything is functioning as normal. And one thing is something someone may mention is maybe I didn't screw the cap on all the way. Well, you can clearly see the cap is screwed on all the way, and this gun actually will not close if the cap is not screwed on all the way. So everything was functioning good on the gun. What I didn't know was the slap round that I put inside it was extra hot, and I had no idea. And there's really no way for me to have ever known. These rounds are extremely rare, and they're very old. They're like $100 a piece. These aren't manufactured anymore, and really there's no way you can really know what's happened to them over time as they've passed hand to hand. I was under the impression that these were genuine military surplus rounds and hadn't been tampered with. So now I'm gonna actually show you what happened.
Oh no.
It's not graphic. All the graphic stuff happened after the fact, and I'm gonna tell you all about that, but I am gonna show you what happened just so you can see what happened to me that day.
No! The whole thing fell apart. What? No. This is crazy. I wonder how the rest of the injuries happened. Who tampers with a bullet though? Why? For what reason? This is just insane. Yeah, it exploded. Oh, it destroys engine blocks. I cannot believe this.
So when I pulled the trigger, the gun exploded.
Nah, that makes sense why he needed the cast after that. Cause hand being fully broken from just the devastation of this weapon.
Almost immediately. So the first thing that went was this cap. And this cap is solid steel, and it is very, very heavy. If you look right here, the threads are sheared off of this gun completely. I spoke with Mark Serbu, and he said that normal pressures are 55,000 PSI. And for those threads to have sheared off and this cap to have just blown off like that, we're looking at over 85,000 PSI. So the cap blows.
Wow. So if the cap was able to handle it, then it would have actually made it. Take care, Google Assistants.
Off. It's kind of hard to put these on because of my little nose brace. I'll explain. But safety glasses are on, and this cap, you can see this little crescent here. This cap hit me right there. I'm not really sure which way, probably more like this, but it struck me in the face. When this cap hit me in the face, it broke my orbital bone in 3 spots, here, here, and here. It also broke my nose, and that's why I have this on. I've had to have facial surgery to repair all this. Here's the really bad part though. On this lower, normally there's these 2 ears that stick up right here. And this is what prevents you from closing the gun when the cap's not on all the way. If the cap is on all the way, it will fit perfectly right here with those ears pushed up against it. When the cap blew off the gun, it came straight back, shearing those ears off the lower. One of these is still at the hospital, and this is the one we found. This one zipped right past my head, went inside my hat, blew a hole through it, and took it off my head what appears 7 to 8 feet. Now the other one is what almost ended me. The other ear hit me right here in the throat. It proceeded to lacerate my jugular vein and then punctured a hole in my right lung. As for my hand, my best guess is this is what did it. In the video, you can see that the stock almost disappears instantly. I believe it came in a downward motion and hit my finger. You have your natural bend in your index finger. Well, this bone right here looked like a V. So my finger looked like a big W. So back to the lacerated jugular. I've now been hit in the throat, and I'm not really sure what happened because
being hit in the artery, though, if you're hit in the artery, is it harder to even make it? Usually in those situations, because it's like the forced bleed out and stuff like that. No, my goodness. That's just so insane. The force need to shear off solid metal like this, so this one goes crazy. Yes, we're taught to plug in. Really? How you doing, Dr. Lilarium? Welcome. Thank you so much for the headpats. Yeah, you definitely don't. I'll also get someone to help you out as well, because I do see that. Hang on. Needs. There we go. Okay, let's continue. This would make me stop shooting guns for several months. Yeah, it's mentally scarring, it's physically scarring. I'd be shaking after that. This is why I prefer katana over firearms. Yep, same.
when this cap hit me in the face, I went blind in my right eye instantly. I have vision coming back now, and they say my eyes should make a full recovery. But in that moment, I went completely blind in this eye, and it was like I had been punched. And I went backwards, and I landed on all fours. A lot of you wonder who is behind the camera in my videos. This is my dad. His name.
Oh my goodness. Thank goodness he had his dad with him. Oh my. Dad's goaded over here. Take care, Jake the Fish. See ya. Yes. Eminence had a question for something. Thank you so much for coming in.
Name is also Scott. If he had not been out here with me, that would have been it for me. He come running up and he let me know of my injuries because I was still in a daze. I've just been punched in the face by a big metal cap. And he let me know real quick that there was a hole in my neck and I was losing a lot of blood really fast. My dad shoved his thumb into my neck and said, "Put your thumb there." Now that I'm aware of what's going on, I took my left thumb, I took my shirt, wrapped it in my shirt, and I shoved it as far into my neck as possible. I was not aware that my jugular was lacerated, but I did know this is really bad. I have a law enforcement background, and I've been trained in injuries and wounds and gunshots and things like that. And I know very well that if you get hit in the neck, it's not good because you can't tourniquet a neck. After I had plugged the hole, I applied extreme pressure, pinched my head down into my hand, and made a run for the truck. So the truck here was right near us. There's a trailer attached. I had to run around the front. I jumped in the passenger seat. Dad jumped in, and we took off. And this all happened in a matter of seconds. I would say under a minute. We were in that truck and just hauling tail into town.
Props to them being so proactive and quick about it, because most people, would be either in a state of shock, if they don't have that background or training, or, blood loss at that point. Because that's the worst place to be cut. My goodness.
Something I forgot to mention, this upper weighs like 25 pounds. And you can see in the video that it just gets thrown off the table. So much pressure came out the back of this upper that it launched it off the table. It's an insane amount of energy that was thrown into my body. So now we're driving very fast into town. I am applying constant pressure to my throat and I'm breathing very slowly, trying to control my heart rate, because the faster your heart rate, the faster you're going to bleed. My dad's driving, so I thought it would be nice of me to call the ambulance. My dad didn't agree with this, but I wanted to do it myself because I wanted to try and stay awake. I needed to be doing something to keep myself conscious. If you have an iPhone, there's this nifty little feature on the side here, and if you hit that button one too many times, it'll call 911.
Oh, wow.
This can be kind of annoying when you're trying to shut off your alarm in the morning, but when there's a lot of bodily fluids on your phone and you can't open it, it comes in really handy. I got on the phone with 911 and I let them know what had happened and that we were coming into town and they were gonna send an ambulance to meet us halfway. There were several times where I thought I was gonna pass out. And I knew if I passed out that was gonna be it, because my dad's driving. If I pass out, who's gonna keep applying pressure to my neck to keep me from bleeding out? Times like this, you really need something to focus on, and I focused on my kids.
Oh.
I had their faces in my brain and I just focused on them and I fought as hard as I could. I stayed conscious the entire time. We met the ambulance halfway, they got me loaded up and we took off towards the hospital. And like I said, I know that I was in a bad spot, and I don't know if you know this, but if your jugular is completely severed, you have 30 seconds. I knew that being hit in the throat, I may not have much time, but the closer we got to the hospital, the more my confidence built, and I thought, hey, maybe I'm gonna be all right. When I was in the ambulance, I asked them to cut my shirt off because I was having trouble breathing and I thought maybe I'd been hit in the chest as well. They cut my shirt off, there wasn't anything there, but when I got to the hospital, they x-rayed me and they said my right lung had collapsed because it had filled with blood, and that was from...
Wow. There's so many things that happened in that. From the lung being filled with blood. And the artery, oh my goodness. His dad had to be calm and collected. Mind you, he just saw his son get down near, taken out by the gun and was watching him bleed out. Yeah.
This little guy here puncturing my lung as well. So from there,
honestly, it's thanks to the fast acting and the full training that allowed them to do this successfully.
They had to intubate me while I was wide awake, and I tell you, that is not fun. Take this long metal rod with a point on it, and they stick it through your rib cage, and it wasn't fun. After that, I was feeling a little better. I could breathe a little better. And then they wanted me to take my thumb out of my neck, and I was like, we're not taking my thumb out of my neck. You just wrap it up with some tape, it's stay there. But they told me I had to take my thumb out of my neck. So they had a bunch of gauze and packing, and as soon as I pulled it out, they packed my throat. When I pulled my thumb out, that's when I saw my finger, and they said that I audibly said, oh, that's not good, because my finger looked like a big W. They informed me after that they were gonna have to life flight me to Vanderbilt Hospital in Nashville, Tennessee. Very, very good hospital with very, very good doctors. Obviously, I'm here making this video. Big shout out to Vanderbilt Hospital. You guys are the best. So now they're about to knock me out. And at this moment, I realized that this may be the last time that I see my wife or see my dad, because once they knock you out, you know, that's it. Either they're gonna fix you or you're not waking up. My wife had arrived. I called her in there, I held her hand, and we had words, and then I called my dad in to pray. And after that, I remember waking up in Vanderbilt Hospital, hooked up to every...
Heck yeah, survived! Let's go, willpower! Oh my goodness, 1 second. Mm, oh, good.
Machine possible. I'm gonna throw some pictures in here. So they did a number on me. So you can see this cut here, and this actually goes all the way down to right here. To repair my jugular and my lung, they had to open up my chest completely. They cut me completely open, just like open heart surgery. They told me a guy my size should hold 6 to 8 units of blood, and total, from all the blood I lost from the initial injury and the surgeries, they had to give me 5 units. There was also there was also a chance that I could have had a stroke. To repair your jugular vein, they have to pinch it off. Well, your jugular vein supplies the oxygenated blood to your brain. So they can only pinch it off for so long. They pinch it off, they repair it, then after that, when they open it back up, all that blood rushes into your brain, and there's a chance you could have a stroke. Praise God, I did not have a stroke as well. As for my hand and my face, they had to do surgery on that as well. I have pins in my finger to hold it in place. And like I said, they had to repair my orbital bone in 3 spots. As you can see, they cut me here and right here. And they also cut inside my mouth, all the way back here to the front to be able to get to all of those spots. So I had a breathing tube in, but I still wanted to talk. I wanted to know what had happened to me and what was going to happen. Well, my nurse, Cody, shout out to that guy, best nurse ever, brought me a dry erase board so that I could write and ask questions. I wanted to talk to my wife. Well, he would call her for me, and then I would write out what I wanted to say, and he would say it over the phone for me, and then I could sit there and talk to my wife. Also, I really wanted a mellow yellow. I was craving it so bad. When I was finally unhooked from everything, I remember sitting in my room, and he peeked his head in. He was like, "Can you eat and drink now?" And I said, "Yeah." And he handed me a mellow yellow. Coolest nurse ever. So for about 2 days, I had tubes coming out of the front of my chest, 1 tube coming out of my right side, and 1 tube coming out from behind my collarbone to drain everything around my lungs. And I had to carry this little vacuum pack with me. They removed those really quick. I'm healing extremely fast. They kicked me out of trauma within a few days. This happened on April 9th, which is a Friday. I went home the following Saturday.
Yeah, let's go. Wow, that's fantastic. And I didn't know that, your body heals that quickly. That is amazing. You can hear his voice crack a bit. He was a little emotional about nearly dying. Yeah, who wouldn't be? This was a traumatic event. This is something like you have to deal with and remember, and you wouldn't even know if you survive or not.
There is a lot more to this story when it comes to my injuries and everything that I had to do to overcome them. Long story short, I shouldn't be standing here. I should be 6 foot under, and if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. So I know there's one big question that you're all wondering. What's gonna happen to Kentucky Ballistics, and am I gonna keep making videos? And the answer to that is absolutely. I'm not gonna quit doing what I love because of a freak accident. There's nothing that can keep me from continuing on. I love what I do, and I appreciate every single one of you. I am healing at a Wolverine rate. I am healing so fast that really a lot of people have been kind of confused at how fast I'm healing. That's God, He's healing me quick. And I'm gonna keep making videos, and I cannot wait to get back out here. I have some videos planned, and I think you're gonna like them. It's gonna be some really funny stuff. Also, I know there's gonna be a good bit of you that wanna support me while I'm healing, and I really, really appreciate that, but I don't wanna do a GoFundMe or anything like that. If you wanna help me out, I want you to get something out of it too. So we got some new shirts. The doctors told me that if it wasn't for this thumb, that I would have died. This thumb saved my life. And my wife came up with this saying. She said, "Just put a thumb in it." And I thought that was the funniest thing ever. So that's what we're going with. We have just put a thumb in it. Shirts, I think these are awesome. And if you want to support me, there's a link in the description down below. They're available now. Pick you up a shirt and support Kentucky Ballistics. This is not my normal content and definitely not what you expected me to post this week, but this is something I felt like I needed to let you know. Again, this was a complete freak accident, and there's no way I would have ever known just how hot that round was until it was too late. So like I said, I'm healing really fast and I'm gonna be back to it as soon as possible. But in the meantime, keep your eyes peeled for some pretty interesting videos I have planned and my update videos. Before I close this video, I just wanna say how much I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for making what I do possible. And I know that the majority of you are gonna be extremely supportive right now, and I really, really appreciate that. Don't forget.
Oh, for real. Life Amazing came up with that. Just put a thumb in it. It's so sweet. Chuck Norris said, no, he has not coming to today. Peter. Huh. Yeah, honestly. I love how he still wants to continue his passion. That is amazing. Is still doing what you love even after you got hurt or you had to deal with something very traumatizing with that.
If you want to pick up a shirt, there's a link in the description down below. And as always, my name is Scott. My name is Scott. And you will most definitely see me next time.
Nice. Going straight back to shooting. That's so sweet. Hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I did. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And we'll see each other next time. Bye-bye.